Hey guys, Andre here, hope you are doing well. In this video, I'll talk about the rat race. What does it mean? Where does this term come from and how does it affect us? Please take a minute to read the disclaimer, and if you agree with all the terms and conditions, let's move on. The topics of this video are: first, what is a rat race? What's the definition? And second, how does it affect us, and is it good or is it bad? According to Wikipedia, a rat race is an endless, self-defeating or pointless pursuit. The phrase equates humans to rats attempting to earn a reward such as cheese to no avail. It may also refer to a competitive struggle to get ahead financially or routinely. The term is commonly associated with an exhausting, repetitive lifestyle that leaves no time for relaxation or enjoyment. Maybe you are able to grasp the idea of the rat race from this definition, but this is how I would define the rat race in my own words. I will go ahead and list three main aspects that define this rat race. First, the distribution of income and time is not focused on building assets. Usually, people who are stuck in the rat race follow this pattern of income distribution. First of all, they will work the whole month for the employee in exchange of a paycheck. And once they get the paycheck, they'll have to pay almost 40% of it in taxes for the government. Then they'll have to pay 30% of their paycheck for banks because they have bought stuff on borrowed money using either credit cards or loans, and then they use the remainder of the money to buy other stuff they need, to buy food, to buy clothes, maybe to travel somewhere and enjoy their time with the family and go on a holiday and so on. So in the end, they realized that they didn't save any money for their investments. They didn't save any money for themselves, although they have spent in things that they will use, such as clothes, food, vacations. So this is the typical distribution of someone who is stuck in the rat race. The only way they can make it do in the next month is to work the whole month again for their employee in exchange for the next paycheck. And this pretty much becomes everything their life has to offer. Wake up, go to work in exchange for your paycheck, buy stuff on credit, and then go to work again. They can never see a way to get out of this rat race unless after they work, 40 or 50 years, they get to retire. But in this sense, they are still dependent from Social Security to get their retirement paychecks because they have never been able to save money to invest in themselves, to buy assets that generate income. On the other hand, this chart shows the income distribution of someone who is financially independent or conscious about better ways to spend their money. So we still have that amount going to the government, but this time it's a smaller one, it's only 20%. These people will usually buy stuff on cash, so they don't need to make loans, they don't need to use credit, they don't need to borrow, so they don't have to pay anything for the banks. And they still need to buy food, they still need to buy clothes, and they still need to have fun. So they still spend 30% on everyone else. But the greatest difference here is that they are spending half or even more of their paychecks, of their income every month on themselves. They are using this money to buy investments, to buy different assets that will in turn generate even more income for them. And by doing that, they will eventually become financially independent. They will no longer need to work for an employer in exchange for that paycheck because the assets they have will be enough to generate sufficient income to pay for their bills, to pay for their food, and to pay for their entertainment. And once someone gets to this point, they consider themselves financially independent. So there is this ongoing question on whatever people should move from being a participant in the rat race to become financially independent. Well, there is no right answer, but the truth is that we should know how we are spending our money based on our current and future goals and our perspective that we have regarding the time we spend with family, the time we spend at work, how energizing and how exciting is the work that we do. If we really like it, or if we are just doing it because we need the paycheck, because we need the money. We have to take all these things into account and don't just assume that it's better for us to become financially independent or to depend on a paycheck and work for someone else. This is something that depends on each one of us. So the first aspect that defines the rat race, the distribution of income and time are not focused on building assets. Second aspect, the fear of unemployment is the biggest motivation or driving force of these people stuck in the rat race. So, as I said before, they will wake up and go to work because they need that paycheck. Sometimes they don't even enjoy the work. Sometimes they feel really stressed and don't have time for family or friends and don't have time for themselves because they need that work and they need that paycheck at the end of the month. And third aspect, buying luxuries on credit or borrowed money. People who are stuck in the rat race will get mortgages to buy their houses, maybe pay for trips or expensive gifts on credit card, and then they will have to pay interest on all this borrowed money. So they will have to pay a significant percentage of their income to banks. And don't forget the effect that compound interest has on money, guys. So instead of earning compound interest, these people are paying compound interest. All of a sudden, they feel more and more stuck in the rat race. So how does this affect us? Many self-help authors, including Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, some stock market gurus, people who sell investments, and people who sell books and courses about investments, they all despite the rat race. They say that all of us should become conscious and, try to quit the rat race because it's not good for our lives to work all the time and spend money on credit and not save and not buy investments. And this is what they say to make us think that we all need to be out of the rat race and also that we need to look for their help, right? We need to buy their products. So in the past, we were oriented to study hard, get a degree, and get a job. And once we get a well-paying job, our life was done. We wouldn't have to worry anymore because we would get a paycheck so we can focus on get a house on mortgage and look forward for retirement. So in the past, this is what people thought was the best course of action. In the present, nowadays, some people aim for financial independence. People have started to realize that maybe working for someone else is not the best option. Of course, different people have different goals. Some of them want to be entrepreneurs. Others are satisfied working for someone else and getting their paychecks. Some people want to be super rich. Some people don't care about that. And different people have different needs, but the fact is that the way people think is slowly changing. They're starting to realize that there are other options than what people thought was the best course of action in the past. But what does the future looks like? What can we expect from now on? Will more people try to leave the rat race and become entrepreneurs or own their own companies? Or will all the workforce be replaced by robots because of AI? What does our future financial situation looks like? And how would society function if everyone decided to quit the rat race? What would happen if there were no more employees? What would happen if no one would be willing to work for someone else anymore? And although many people complain about being the rat race, having this boring or stressful job and not having time for anything else, all they do is to pay taxes and pay bills and they have no money left at the end of the month. Some people can even join the rat race. Have you ever thought about it? Like there are people who don't have enough education or can't get a job, or maybe this person's emotional circumstances does not allow them to keep this job. Maybe they have some kind of addiction, or maybe they are involved with the wrong people. So although many of us want to be financially independent and work for ourselves, Many of us are okay and even enjoy working for someone else for a paycheck. Some people don't have a job and have a lot of trouble taking care of themselves and their families. So we can see that there are many possibilities for us to choose from, and there are many circumstances that may lead us to one or another choice. Now, is the rat race good or bad? So one thing I know for sure is that being in debt is not good. Buying things with money you don't have shows that you're not managing your money well. But being in the rat race without debt is neither good or bad. So I believe that there is no right or wrong, good or bad. It's not that one option is intrinsically better than the other one, but rather we should do our best to become aware of our current position and know all the options we have. And then we can choose whatever works for us, always respecting other people and their rights. Thank you guys for watching and see you next time.